Hello there, and welcome to Unveil Your Brilliance with Angilie Kapoor here on the Win-Win Women TV network, where each week we explore helping you to break free from the illusions that are holding you back. My name is Angilie Kapoor. I am your host. I'm also a conscious leadership coach, an empowerment strategist, as well as a multi-book author, an inspirational speaker, and the founder of my leadership coaching company, Oversight Global. Now, at Oversight Global, we are on a mission to address the consciousness crisis in the world, one leader at a time. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. And that's a quote by Jim Rohn, who was an American entrepreneur and author, and was actually the mentor to one of my mentors that I currently have. Now, the reason why I share this with you is because in today's episode, we have an amazing guest joining us to share her amazing story of how the effects of overgiving for the majority of her life built up to erupt as a major heart attack a few years ago. She's going to share with us how someone in the hospital during that event encouraged her to not waste her heart attack and how she is keeping that promise by helping others, especially women, do what they can to avoid a similar situation like she did. Now, also, we're going to do things a little differently than we have been in regards to our weekly episode segments, Brilliant Mindset, Breaking Free, and Brilliant Strategies. Now, just a reminder of what the purpose of these weekly show segments are. Brilliant Mindset is where we explore various mental blocks that we as women experience that hold us back from achieving success. In Breaking Free, this is where we focus on overcoming the challenges that we face and really start to break free from the conformity that other people and the world really try to mold us into how and who they want us to be, rather than allowing us to just be who we truly are. And in Brilliant Strategies, that's where we talk about some practical strategies for us to achieve success in all aspects of our life, both personal and professional. Now, in today's episode, these segments will actually be interweaved throughout the discussion that I'll be having with my guest, Edie Weinstein. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring her on the show. All right, now I am so thrilled to have our guest for today here with us. Now, before I bring her on, let me tell you a bit about her. So Edie Weinstein is an accomplished social worker, psychotherapist, journalist, and author with a wealth of knowledge and expertise in various fields, including that of cardiac and emotional heart health. As someone who has experienced a heart attack herself, Edie understands the importance of taking care of our physical and emotional well-being, especially during times of life changes and transitions. Edie's life journey has been marked by love and loss, including the devastating loss of her husband at the age of 40. Her experiences have led her to develop a deep understanding of the impact that emotional stress can have on our hearts and the vital role that self-care plays in maintaining our cardiac health. As a renowned speaker and interfaith minister, Edie has made it her mission to share her wisdom and empower others to transform their lives and overcome the challenges that come with heart-related health issues. With her portable strategies and actionable insights, Edie will share with us how we can create a whole life makeover in the midst of life changes and transitions. She will guide us through the steps we need to take to replenish our energy supplies and offer ourselves the same loving care that we give to others. So hold on to your seats, get ready to be inspired, educated, and uplifted as we welcome the incredible Edie Weinstein to the show. Edie,
Thank you.
welcome. Yeah, welcome to Unveil Your Brilliance. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Speaking is one of my favorite things to do. My mother used to tell me that I started speaking at 6 months and have never stopped since. So communication is my passion. And this particular passion came at a high price for me. June 12th of 2014, on the way home from the gym, after what I thought was a normal workout, I had a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
And fast forward, and I'll fill in the details in a little bit. But part of the reason that I'm speaking on this is that I made a promise, like a 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning promise to a nurse who
Mhm.
came in to check on me. You know how when you're in the hospital, they wake you up to make sure you're still alive.
Yeah.
So she herself was a cancer survivor and did a lot of health education as a result of that. And
Mhm.
she told me that I needed to do this. She said, when you recover, but not until then, you need to teach this to other women, because women's cardiac health or women's cardiac symptoms are very different from men's. On the way home from the gym, I had the symptoms of not the typical left arm, left chest pain, but
Mhm.
jaw pain and tightness, like somebody had grabbed my jaw. I couldn't move it.
Right.
Torrential sweats. And I had cooled down after working out. What else? Palpitations, lightheadedness, dizziness, searing heartburn pain, front and back.
Mhm.
And I knew I was having a heart attack, but workaholic that I was, I didn't go straight to the ER. I drove home. I picked up the phone and called my office and said, I'm not feeling very well. Can you cancel my clients for today? And I hung up. And I still didn't call 911. I drove myself to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
Don't ever, ever, ever do that. I could have killed somebody.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm doing this, is because I want other women to be aware of the symptoms that even come before that. I had ignored them because I thought, oh, menopause,
Mhm.
like night sweats, and again, the palpitations, the dizziness, thought that was normal.
Right.
I'm going to give you some statistics, if that will help. Hold on for a
Yeah, that
minute.
would be
Pull it
great.
up. So according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, over 60 million women in the United States are living with some form of heart disease. And I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying that. 44% of the women are living with some form of heart disease. It's the leading cause of death for women in the United States and can affect women of any age. In 2021, these are older statistics, and it might have changed since then. It was responsible for the deaths of 310,661 women, or about 1 in every 5 female deaths.
Oh my
And the
God.
research has shown that only half, 56%, of women in the United States recognize that heart disease is their #1 killer.
Mhm.
So it's really important that you pay attention to what your body is telling you. I
Right.
didn't. And it cost me, it didn't cost me my life, but it could have.
Right. Right. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing a bit of how you got here, and doing what you're doing today. So, can you kind of shed light on, what was your belief and kind of your mentality that kind of created that condition for you? How did you kind of, function as a woman in your life to where, it kind of mounted up to that climactic event
Yeah.
of you having
Mhm.
a heart attack?
Yep. As you mentioned earlier, I was widowed at 40. My son was 11 at the time, so I was a
Mhm.
single parent. I kept a roof over our heads. I'm still living in the same house that we lived in 28 years ago when my husband died. I'm coming up, this year it'll be 29 years. Wow. No, 26 years. Um, I did everything. I had a number of different jobs to keep us
Mhm.
going. I am a consummate caregiver. I come by it genetically, I think, because my parents were also.
Right.
I took care of everybody else's needs before mine. I ignored that example that people talk about when you're on the airplane and the oxygen mask
Yep.
comes down. You're supposed to put it on yourself first. I thought, nah, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. As I was gasping for breath. I chose to work in a field as a caregiver. I was a psychiatric social worker
Mhm.
working in a psych hospital. At the time of the heart attack, I was a therapist working in an outpatient drug and alcohol rehab. So here I was working with addicts, and I myself was addicted to work. It
Mm.
wasn't just that I thought I needed to work to support us, it's what fulfilled me. And when people would tell me to slow down, I would say, oh, no, 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 I'll be fine, until I wasn't.
Mhm.
And I thought, again, I ignored my symptoms and I thought, I can deal with it. Now, a few months prior to the heart attack, there should have been a wake up call. I had shingles,
Mm.
the left side of my face, all the way to the back here. And I looked like a Klingon from Star Trek. I had all these raised bumps, and occasionally I still get the what I call the shingles tingles. It's like it
Mhm.
tickles my forehead a little
Yeah.
bit, and that should have been the wake up call, but it wasn't. That was the year before in 2013.
Mhm.
And when I had the heart attack, I, as I said, drove myself there. I stumbled into the ER saying, I think I'm having a heart attack. And they whisked me up to the cardiac cath lab. They
Mhm.
inserted a stent and they put, put it in the LAD, the Widowmaker,
Right.
blocked artery. And the surgeon came in a little bit afterward when I was recovering, and he showed me two pictures. And this is what your heart looked like, the artery looked like during the heart attack. It was like a branch that was broken. And
Mhm.
this is what it looks like with the stent. It was popped up.
Right.
It was fully occluded, fully blocked. Probably a little bit later, I would have died
Oh, wow.
if I hadn't gotten there in time. So
Mhm.
that's why I advise everybody, don't do what I did.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah.
So while I was there, um, my two dear friends, Phil and Janet, who had, who were our, like, their family of choice.
Mhm.
And Janet said, I demand to speak to your social worker. This person needs to know what your lifestyle is like. Then I don't care if you think you can go back to work in a week. You need to take at least 2 weeks off.
Mhm.
And I insist on telling him or her that. And Phil, who himself had a lot of cardiac condition, which eventually took his life, he leaned over my bed, and Phil is from New York. And he says, you go back to work next week, I come over and break both your legs.
Yeah.
And I believed him. He didn't have to break my legs. They were fine. And then another friend who had had a heart attack told me, don't let your heart attack go to waste. Learn.
Mm.
So my boss at the time said, we're not going to let you in the door for 2 weeks. We will take care of your clients if they need anything. Don't worry. And that was the hardest thing for me to do, was to just rest.
Mhm.
My first outing after the heart attack was to Costco, and a dear friend who was a nurse who has since died of cancer she accompanied me. And I was holding onto the cart, and it was one step at a time. And I was like, kind of like that, like catching my breath.
Mhm.
When I went to cardiac rehab, um, I called it being on the tether. They monitored me. I had a heart monitor on while I was working out, and they would tell me to stop talking while I was working out. And I said, you don't understand. I talk for a living. I need to be able to walk and talk at the same time. And they were incredibly enthusiastic and supportive. And they would say, oh, that's awesome. You're doing awesome. So while I was in cardiac rehab, I saw a car with a bumper sticker that said, it's not sweat, it's liquid awesome. And I wasn't satisfied until I was drenched in sweat. And they
Mhm.
said, you're gonna relapse. Slow down. That, I was going 100 miles an hour with my hair on fire back then.
Wow.
And I realized that I can't do that. Can't live like
Right.
that anymore.
Right. Right.
That's what led up to it, is that I thought I had to be all things to all people. I had to be on call 24/7 to take care of everybody. And I can't say men don't do that, but I think women are indoctrinated to do that, to be on
Right.
call all the time.
Mhm.
And now I ask for help and support. It's hard. It's hard to, it's also about asking for help when you need it and being willing to accept it when it's offered.
Right. Right.
Right?
Exactly.
Because so many of us are accustomed to being givers and have a hard time receiving. So
Right.
I call it being a generous giver and a gracious receiver.
Mm.
If your friends and family want to love on you, let them.
Right. Right.
To put aside your conditioning, put aside, oh, I'm a burden, or I should be the one giving.
Mhm.
Let them in. Let those people in. Because think about this: if you're a giver, how good does it feel when you can give to somebody else and make their day?
Right.
Give them that same pleasure of
Mhm.
taking care of you.
Allow other people that opportunity. I think
Yep.
that's really
Yeah.
important perspective to have, especially as somebody who is an overgiver. So yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
I love that. So another thing that I want to talk about is, with especially us women who tend to be overachievers and workaholics, one of the things that I've really found, especially in myself, is that we tend to focus on the to-do list and really not give ourselves recognition we deserve and the things that
Mhm.
we actually accomplish throughout
Right.
the day. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, sure. I have a to-do list every single day. I'm
Mhm.
a multifaceted multitasker, and I call myself professionally polyamorous because I have several overlapping jobs at the same time. And when I tell people what my schedule's like, they say, "We're tired just hearing your schedule. How do you do it all? I thought you were going to slow down." And I remind them, I said, "This is slow."
Mm,
So I take naps. That's something that I fought like crazy prior to the heart attack. I would say sleep is highly overrated. It's not.
right.
Nap when you can, especially if you're taking care of other people.
Mhm.
For women that are part of the sandwich generation, meaning taking care of your kids and your aging parents, you're
Right.
in the middle of the sandwich. It's so important. And I know it sounds impossible, but it's so important to take a walk, be
Mhm.
in nature, get a massage, get a pedicure or manicure. Try to avoid alcohol when you're feeling like that,
Right.
because a lot of people self-medicate with food, with drugs, with alcohol, with cigarettes.
Mhm.
So I encourage people to find healthier coping skills.
Right.
And as I mentioned, support groups. If you are a caregiver, there are caregiver support groups. Read, listen to TED Talks, listen to podcasts that talk about all the things that we're mentioning here.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's some great points there and some great tips for women to kind of break that cycle really and really
Mhm.
start putting themselves first. So, I mean, you have walked through, what it's like for a lot of us women who are kind of these overachievers and we overwork ourselves and things like that. I mean, I know for me, even though I know better, I know that I'm supposed to, have a mindset to where I put myself first and to really, have the attitude of, there really isn't anything that's more important than taking care of yourself. And you really can't give your best to others if you're not at your best. But I mean, sometimes, knowing all of that, sometimes I still do find myself, especially if I have a big project that I'm working on, I will continue to like work 12, 14, 16-hour days. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, 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 just, just this week. And then after that, I'll take better
Yeah,
care of
right.
myself.
Hmm.
Exactly. So, I mean, what can you, some strategies or things that you do that you can share with women who are kind of like, in the same type of mentality where they know
Sure.
better, but
Right.
it's hard to kind of like make that shift.
Right. Well, remind yourself that you are only one person and you can only do one person's job at a time, and
Mhm.
you can only handle one crisis at a time.
Right.
I give the example to my therapy clients, that it's like being at the, at a customer service counter. How
Right.
many customers can you serve at one time? And they always say one. That's all you can do. Now, unfortunately, as women, as moms, as multitaskers that are spinning the plates and trying to keep them
Mhm.
all up in the air, we think we have to handle more than one crisis at a time.
Right.
So I've learned I'm one of my joys and part of my work week is that I watch my grandchildren 4 mornings a week. And if I'm changing Lucy's diaper and Dean says, "Bubby," which is Yiddish for grandmother, "Bubby, I need this." And I say, "What am I doing?" And he says, "You're changing Lucy's diaper." And I said, do you want poop or pee hands touching whatever it is you want? You need to
Right.
wait. So if you can do that with the problems, with the things that are coming at you, you can only handle one thing at a time well, and then
Mhm.
put it to the side.
Right.
And it takes practice.
Right.
So that's one thing. Another thing is a ritual that I do every morning in the shower. When I'm turning the water on, I say I let go of anger, fear, worry. What do I say? Disgust, disdain, guilt, shame, and blame, and
Mhm.
all the things that I've caused myself or other people pain, and all the things that I can't go back and change. And then I add, and I'm letting go of workaholism, addiction, what else? Codependence, savior behavior,
Mhm.
all the things that got me to that place.
Right.
So I let that go and it goes down the drain. And then as I'm soaping up, I'll say, and I call in love, healing, bliss, blessings, goodness, kindness, caring, abundance, health and wealth, and whatever it is I want to call in to my
Mhm.
life. And it's a daily ritual.
Right. Right.
That helps. The other thing that I do is I say prayers at night.
Mhm.
I've done it since I was a little kid. And one of the things that I add after I've prayed for everybody else is I say, I'm welcoming myself into the healing temple.
Mhm.
So as I'm falling asleep, I'm visualizing walking in to a physical place of healing
Right.
where I get to get massage and Reiki. There's a hot tub in there. There are crystals, there's music, there are wind chimes, whatever, that's mine. But
Mhm.
whatever it is for you, whatever a healing temple would look like for you.
Right.
So while you're sleeping, you're healing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point.
And some of it is surrendering, realizing I can't be all things to all people, and neither can you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right.
Actually,
Right.
I did want to touch on that because you have mentioned, several people in your life who are now supporting you. So, how can, women who are watching this, kind of create that support system and have
Mhm.
those people be so understanding as to what it sounds like the people in your
Mhm.
lives are?
Mhm. Well, first of all, take a look around your life. Who is there? I
Mhm.
mean, there are some people that feel like they have nobody. Loneliness is now an epidemic. The
Right.
Surgeon General declared loneliness an epidemic. So some people have, nobody or almost nobody. But if you do, and I'll address that in a minute, but if you do have people in your life, be willing to ask them, because most women say, oh, I don't want to be a burden. Guess what, honey?
Right.
If you're sick, you're going to need more care than you do if you're just beginning to feel sick.
Mhm. Right. Right.
So that's it, one thing. And then the other thing is, if you're lonely and you feel like you have nobody, I know this might sound counterintuitive, but volunteer.
Mhm.
Go out there and do something with other people, for other people,
Mhm.
and you'll start gathering people into your life. Do what you love, do things that you enjoy, and you're going to meet people who like doing the same things that you like doing.
Right.
Think about this. Everybody you now know and love was once a stranger.
Exactly.
The other thing that I do that came as a result of the heart attack is that I do the free hugs thing,
Mhm.
where I go, when I was in cardiac rehab, I decided to combine hugging with walking. A few months prior to that, I had gotten together with friends at 30th Street Station in Philadelphia, and we did a free hugs flash mob. And there were 12 of us. And in an hour period of time, we hugged a few hundred people.
Oh, wow.
And one of them was an Iraq war vet who approached us and
Mhm.
told us that he was the only survivor of his platoon and that he had survivor's guilt. And he said,
Mhm.
can I join you people? You give me hope.
Mhm.
So we gave him his own sign and he was off to the races. Since then, I've hugged people in different states in the United States, in Canada. And then in May of 2018, I hugged my way through Ireland. I
Oh,
was there on
wow.
a tour with people and had my free hug sign, and I hugged lots of people there. And I got a fair amount of media publicity, locally, nationally. So find a purpose too. What lights you up?
Right.
What turns you into a human sparkler?
Mhm.
That, because a lot of people think, oh, I don't know what my purpose is. Well, what would you do if that you would do? Is there something you would do even if you didn't get paid for it?
Right.
Something that just really comes from here.
Mhm.
So think about what that would be.
Right.
And whatever is healing for your emotional heart, I think will help keep your physical heart healthy too. I really
Right.
believe that.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think, that the mind body connection, if we're healthy emotionally and mentally, and physically, that's, and energetically, it's all going to
Mhm.
contribute to making us
Mhm.
overall healthy. So tell our viewers where they can connect with you, where they can find you, if you have
Sure.
anything coming up that they can get involved with.
Well, my website is www.opti, mystical.com. Where that came from is that years ago, a message came to me either in a dream or meditation that said, you're not just an optimist, you're an optimistic who sees the world through the eyes of possibility. And what's really cool about that is that a friend of mine created a meme and put that on there. And October 13th, which is my birthday, forget how many years ago, somebody messaged me and said, check this out. Julian Lennon, John Lennon's son,
Yes.
Julian Lennon posted your meme on his page, his Facebook page.
Wow.
I don't know. And it's there. I am on Facebook as Edie Weinstein. There's also a Facebook page called Bucks County Kind.
Okay.
And it was created in almost 2 years ago. Wow. April, I think it'll be 2 years. A local friend, Joanne Petrin, and I put together this Facebook page encouraging people to do random acts of kindness. So it's Bucks County Kind, if you look that up on Facebook. And join us. You don't have to live in Bucks County, Pennsylvania to do it.
Oh,
It can be
nice.
anywhere in the world.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I'll definitely join your group.
Good. Thank you.
Well, Edie, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I know that the women who are watching the show are going to get a lot out of this. So did you have any last final thoughts that you wanted to share with the ladies?
You matter, even if you don't think you do. You're beautiful, even if you don't think you are. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Surround yourself with positive role models, people who live the way you want to live. Don't let a number on the scale, a number on the calendar, stop you from living your full life, rich, full, juicy life.
Yes, I love that. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you
welcome.
again for being here. And I definitely want to have you back so we can talk about some other
Thank you.
stuff that I know
Thank you.
that you were expertise in. So thank you so much. And I'm sure the
My
ladies will
pleasure.
get amazing stuff out of this. So ladies, are you tired of feeling like you're stuck in the same old rut, unable to reach your full potential? Do you have dreams and goals that seem to always be out of reach? Well, you're not alone. Statistics show that 92% of people who set out to achieve something never actually do, but you can break free from being part of that statistic. I want to offer all of my viewers a chance to unveil their brilliance by providing a free high performance strategy coaching session. The purpose of this complimentary coaching session is to help you kickstart your journey towards fulfilling your fullest potential by breaking free from the illusions that are holding you back. Now, if you're ready to take the first step towards unveiling your brilliance, I encourage you to schedule a free high performance strategy coaching session with me today. You won't regret it. Let's work together to create the life that you truly desire and love. Okay, and that is it for today's episode on From Heartbreak to Heart Health with our special guest, social worker, psychotherapist, journalist, and author, Edie Weinstein. I want to thank Edie again for joining us today and for sharing her story and her message of prioritizing ourselves and our emotional and physical heart health. And also thank you, beautiful soul, for being here with me today as well. Now, if you're here with me live, be sure to join me in the second half of the show for Brilliant Connections, where we get to meet and get to know each other, and you're able to ask any questions that you might have from today's topic. If you're catching this on replay, thanks so much for watching. I hope that you'll check out our previous episodes as well on www.winwinwomen.tv/show/unveil-your-brilliance, as well as join me live next week. Remember, like American entrepreneur and author Jim Rohn said, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you next week. And my ladies here with me live, I will see you in a few seconds.